Well, happy Monday, everyone. This is Justin from Kim's Knife Life, and I am bringing to you another really exciting review today of the Reate Jack 2.0. This is a knife I acquired maybe around 2 months ago now, 3 months ago. So I haven't had it a super long time, but it's one that I've been checking out for maybe a year or two. Just very interested in it. This is my first integral knife, which means the handle here. This is all one solid piece of titanium, and then these carbon fiber scales are just attached to the singular piece of titanium. So you can see here, there's no seam in the back where the two sides come together, which is a really cool concept. It's really amazing how they machine these knives. So anyway, I wanted to share this review with you guys, share my thoughts on this, and yeah. Let's go ahead and dig into it. So in terms of blade steel, this is M390. I'm not sure if it says it on the blade anywhere. I don't see it. It might be back in here. No, I don't see it, but I know these are M390. Pretty simple, score a 10 on that. M390 is one of the best steels out there in terms of stainless qualities, in terms of edge retention, in terms of toughness, just an all-around very nice balanced steel. And yeah, definitely a 10 for that. In terms of the clip, I gave this guy an 8. You can see here the clip, it looks really nice machining on that. Easy to get into the pocket and out of the pocket. The retention's good. Not a lot of space under the clip for heavier cargo shorts or maybe heavier jeans, but in most jeans that I wear, this clip's worked great. Not a ton left hanging out of the pocket after you put it into the pocket, and yeah, just a nice clip. Didn't give it a 10 just because it's not going to work in all situations, but still a nice clip. Looks really nice with the knife, and it fits into the design aesthetic. So yeah, I think 8's a good score for that. In terms of materials, this was an easy 10. I mean, you have the carbon fiber scales on the side here. You have the titanium integral construction, the M390 blade steel. I mean, it's just a really nice knife in terms of materials. They really just use the best of the best, short of getting into like Mokutai and Damascus and all that stuff. Oh, my bad. I went over the lock type. Let me cover that here. So you can see here, I believe in my first video, I called this a liner lock. This is actually a frame lock. It's just a little bit confusing because this scale is over top of it. It actually acts as an over travel stop, so I can't push the lock past this scale. And but yeah, it's a frame lock with a steel lock bar insert. You can see here, there on the end, there is the insert. So yeah, this is a frame lock, just a little bit different style. Has a nice cutout here to disengage the lock. Just a very well designed knife. So I covered material, size comparison. This is a pretty large knife. You can see here is the Mannix for comparison. Let me line those up. And then of course the Buck 110. So, in terms of length, it's about the same as the Buck 110, and even in blade length, it's very similar. I'd say maybe 3.5 to 4 inches, probably somewhere between there. But yeah, this is a pretty big knife, and in terms of weight, it's actually light for how big it is because of the titanium, the carbon fiber. It just uses a lot of lightweight, strong materials. But yeah, it's a long knife. And it's relatively tall. Not quite as tall as the Mannix because of the Spidey hole, but it's still a pretty tall knife in the pocket. So yeah, so there's your size comparison. And then moving on to action, this has a very nice, very smooth, I don't know what a good word would be, glass-like action. It's not quite on the level of smoothness as like a Grimsmo Norseman, but you can see there it's very drop shutty. You kind of have to finagle it a little bit, convince it into the handle a little bit more than a Norseman. It's not It's not going to guillotine your finger, but in my opinion, that's not a bad thing. I suppose it would if that flipper tab wasn't there. But yeah, action's very, very good on this. So I'm going to give it a score of a 9. I like the way the action feels a lot, and I think it's you know, the Norsemans they're borderline on the level of being too drop shutty to where they're going to close on your finger, which, you know, some people may like that. I would actually prefer probably something like this, but, you know, just in terms of smoothness, trying to be as objective as possible, I'll knock it down a point. So I'll give it a 9 for an action, but I think it's still an excellent action. Looking at the hardware, I actually just looked at these screws before I recorded this video. So these are T8s. The handle scales have T8s. These are T10s up here for these stops, and then the clip, I believe, is a T8. So, and then the center, I think, is also a T8. Let me check here. The center might be, I think it's a T8. Yeah, because that's a T10, that red wrench. So, yeah, I really, really like the hardware on this a lot. I like the size of the hardware. I think it's very smart to use bigger screws if you can. I think there's less chance of stripping bits out, stripping screws. I have a couple of T6s that are just stripped to no end because, well, I might have been trying to use them in a T8, but still, I appreciate when makers use larger screws. I think it's just a smart decision. And yeah, in terms of hardware, I gave this a score of 10. And that's actually that's the second score after the tough that I gave a 10, or second knife after the tough. In terms of disassembly, I've never tried to disassemble this knife. I can't imagine it would be too difficult. The fact that it's an integral is going to make it a little trickier because you have to basically take the pivot out and then just slide this blade forward like this. Don't worry, my finger was not by the blade when I did that. But yeah, it might be a little tricky to take apart, but I can't imagine it would be too difficult. So yeah, I think a 10 for hardware as well is well deserved. In terms of price, this guy was right around $450, I think, maybe $470. So for what you're getting here, I mean, the carbon fiber, the integral construction, the M390. I mean, even just considering those things, I think it's a really strong price point. I mean, yeah, it's produced in China, but this is nicer than most every American produced knife I've ever handled. Maybe short of some high-end customs and some knives that far exceed this price point. And then on top of the materials and the excellent construction and the action, I also wanted to show you guys what else you get with this. So in addition to all of that, you get this cleaning cloth, which says Reate Knives on it. You get a patch, which also says Reate Knives. And then you get a nice carry case with this as well, which I'll bring this into the camera. So it says Reate there, really nice and cushy. This is what the knife actually comes in when you purchase it. And you get this like bag that you can put the knife in. And then on top of all of that, you get this comb, which I don't know if you noticed, but the knife actually has torque screws on the top of the blade on the spine. And I think this is some extra hardware. These might be spacers for this comb. I'm not sure. I've actually never changed this, but yeah. So it comes with this comb and this extra hardware, and you can see here on the spine of the blade it has 3 torque screws. I've seen somebody do this, but yeah, you take the torque screws out. This hardware might actually just be, I'm not sure what that's for. I'll have to do some research on that, but yeah, you can change this blade out for the comb, and the part that detaches starts back here around the finger choil, the middle there, and then it just moves up, and then let me see if I can get something to point that's better than my finger. It starts right here and moves up and then down the spine of the blade. And that's the part that detaches, which is, that's really cool. I think it's a really neat feature. I think it's cool that they included this comb. And yeah, I'll probably never use the comb. I may not even try to change it out from the blade, but I just think it's really neat that they included that. Just a nice little bonus with the knife. I tend to be kind of a stickler for how knives are packaged as well, and this one was very nicely packaged. I mean, this is a nice pouch, nice soft bag, comes with a cloth, just really well presented. So in terms of price, I definitely give this a 10. I think it's very well deserved. Very nice presentation. You get some cool little bonuses, you get some extra hardware here. So yeah, gave it a 10. And then finally, quality. Yeah, this is an easy 10. I mean, the action's great. Machining is excellent on this. You can see the lines here that they machined in the back, how they progress from wider diamonds to narrow diamonds at the bottom there. I mean, the carbon fiber just looks amazing. Carbon fiber on the other side. The clip is nicely machined. This blade, I mean, the finish is just, you can see the oil there, as per typical for me. But yeah, the blade looks amazing. I mean, the grind is very even, very well done. So yeah, easy 10 for quality for this. And then looking at competition, the first one that came to mind was maybe the Koenig Arius, but those are hard to find now and are probably a good $100 more than this. Maybe some WE knives get into this territory. They use M390 a lot. They also use titanium carbon fiber construction quite a bit, but you know, they may be a little bit cheaper than this one, but I've never seen one that's as unique as this. And I don't believe they're integrals either. The ones, I'm not sure what their naming system is a little confusing, but yeah, I mean, I know WE knives, they make a lot of titanium flippers, but I don't think they're integral knives, and I think they're more around the $200 to $300 price point. So competition wise, you know, when you're looking at price point, materials, presentation, I don't really know of anything that touches this knife. I mean, this is an excellent knife, and I have no regrets about purchasing it. I would highly recommend it, and this easily tops the scale for all the knives I reviewed at a 67. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. If you have any comments or questions, you know, leave them below. Leave me a like, and please subscribe if you haven't, and have a good day. See ya.